Welcome back, everyone, to the Baha'i Reflections channel.
It's great to be back.
We are so glad you've chosen to join us again. We really focus here on these devotional deep dives, getting into the writings that guide our spiritual lives and, well, our actions too.
Absolutely. And it's always a pleasure, really, to explore these sacred texts together with all of you listening. We truly appreciate this growing community.
Yes, thank you. Especially to our existing subscribers, your commitment means a lot.
And we have to give a really special, explicit thank you to our channel members. Your support, honestly, even if it's just 99 cents a month, it's just crucial. It's the foundation, you could say, that lets us keep doing these really intensive, in-depth explorations.
It really does make a difference. So
Right.
today we're tackling a virtue that isn't just, important. It's given the highest possible designation in the Baha'i writings. We're diving deep into courtesy. We'll be looking at writings from Baha'u'lláh and Abdu'l-Bahá to try and understand why this specific quality is seen as so central, almost like the linchpin of spiritual life.
And when you look at the source texts, it's quite extraordinary, isn't it?
Yeah.
Baha'u'lláh didn't just, list courtesy alongside other virtues.
No.
He called it the prince of virtues. So our goal today, really, is to unpack what that means, why this specific moral quality gets that kind of, supreme title.
Right.
If we can understand why courtesy is the prince, it tells us something profound about the whole order of spiritual development.
That immediately raises a fascinating question, doesn't it? I mean, you think about virtues like justice or detachment, maybe steadfastness. They seem so challenging, perhaps even harder to attain. So why courtesy? Why is that the one ruling them all?
Good question.
Okay, let's unpack this. Let's start by looking at its supreme importance, its fundamental definition, right from the source. We'll begin with our first source. This really anchors the whole conversation. It's from Baha'u'lláh, found in the tablets of Baha'u'lláh. I'll read it now. Courtesy is indeed the prince of virtues. Blessed is he who adorneth himself with the raiment thereof, and is illumined with its light. Such a soul is reckoned among the companions of God, for courtesy is the foundation of a noble character and a sign of his love for humanity. Verily, it openeth the door to the hearts of men, and draweth them nigh unto the truth. Without courtesy, the words of wisdom are as a lamp without light, but with it, even the simplest utterance shineth with brilliance.
Wow. That phrase, the prince of virtues,
Mm.
it's powerful. It suggests a kind of governance, doesn't it?
Right.
Like courtesy presides over all the other moral qualities.
Like a king or queen in a kingdom of virtues.
Exactly. It's not just another citizen, it's the sovereign. So while other virtues, truthfulness, patience, you name it, are absolutely essential, this suggests they actually need courtesy to be expressed properly, without causing harm or giving offense.
That distinction is so important. You could be advocating for justice, for instance, but if you do it with arrogance or impatience,
Right.
you actually undermine the very virtue you're trying to promote. So courtesy becomes the manner, the medium, the essential prerequisite for other good qualities to function purely.
It's like the lubricant, maybe, allowing the gears of our character to work smoothly together instead of grinding against each other.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
And notice how quickly the source shifts from that royal imagery to spiritual identity. It talks about courtesy as raiment and light.
Clothing and illumination.
Right. So it's not some external mask we just put on for show. It's presented as an internal garment.
Yeah.
Something that fundamentally changes how we're perceived.
Yeah.
And maybe even how we perceive the world ourselves.
And when we're truly adorned with it, the text says we're illumined with its light. It makes us recognizable.
Yes. Reckoned among the companions of God. It's a sign of spiritual attainment.
And then it calls courtesy the foundation of a noble character. I mean, think about architecture. The foundation carries everything. If that foundation is weak, it doesn't matter how impressive the rest of the building looks, the walls of sacrifice, the roof of knowledge eventually, it's going to crumble.
So courtesy isn't just like a nice finishing touch.
Yeah.
It's structurally necessary for real spirituality.
Absolutely.
And that structural integrity is immediately tied to how we affect others. It's explicitly called a sign of his love for humanity.
So if genuine spirituality shows itself as love for others,
Then courtesy is the visible proof.
Mm.
It's the practice that makes that love tangible, real for other people. And as the text says, it openeth the door to the hearts of men.
That's a profound idea about persuasion, isn't it? You can't just force your way into someone's heart or mind. But courtesy, through its gentleness and respect, somehow provides the key. It unlocks that door.
And that closing sentence,
Yeah.
comparing courtesy to a lamp,
Mm.
that really hits home, especially regarding communication.
Without courtesy, the words of wisdom are as a lamp without light. Powerful.
It means you can possess the deepest truths, the most amazing insights, but if you deliver them without respect, without gentleness, without acknowledging the dignity of the other person.
The light is just off. The knowledge is there, but it's dark, inert. It can't penetrate.
It's that classic difference between being right and being effective, isn't it?
Totally.
You might be 100% correct, but if you say it discourteously, you just push people away. The message gets lost. But the courteous person, the text says, makes even the simplest utterance shine with brilliance.
Because the integrity of the delivery makes the message itself appealing, persuasive.
Exactly. The how matters as much as the what.
So, if that defines the foundation for us as individuals, how does this idea extend? How does it connect to peace on a larger scale? Let's look at the second source, which connects courtesy directly to peace.
Okay.
This is also from Baha'u'lláh in the tablets of Bahá'u'lláh. Courtesy is the cause of tranquility among the children of men. It is as a soft breeze that cooleth the fire of anger, as a gentle rain that quencheth the flames of discord. When the believer is courteous, he bringeth joy to the hearts of men, for the soul of every man is soothed by gentleness. Thus doth courtesy become a source of unity and a means of peace among the nations.
So here, courtesy isn't just about preventing trouble. It's presented as an active agent of healing.
Cause of tranquility. That elevates it, doesn't it? From just being nice to being a major force for de-escalation. In our communities, even globally.
And the metaphors,
Yeah.
they're so vivid. Anger and discord are described as consuming, destructive fires.
Right. Hot, volatile.
But courtesy doesn't fight fire with fire. It uses these gentle, natural elements, a soft breeze, a gentle rain.
That non-confrontational image is really key, I think. If you respond to anger with a harsh argument, even a logical one.
You just add fuel to the fire.
Exactly. But courtesy seems to bypass the logical defenses, maybe, and appeals more directly to the emotional or spiritual core.
Yes. It cools the environment of the conversation rather than directly attacking the other person's hostile position. It changes the whole dynamic.
And that cooling effect, the text says, is universal. It doesn't say it only soothes the soul of the peaceful person, but the soul of every man is soothed by gentleness.
That implies it taps into something really fundamental in us, a basic human need for validation, for recognition, perhaps. Regardless of how someone is acting in the moment, angry, aggressive, afraid.
Yeah.
Exactly. When you choose to be courteous, you're essentially affirming the inherent nobility of the person you're talking to, even if their behavior isn't noble right then.
So by soothing the soul with gentleness, you create space, emotional space for understanding, maybe even for repair.
And that's how courtesy moves beyond just simple etiquette. It becomes a source of unity, a means of peace among nations, starting right here in our daily interactions.
Personal grace transforming into social, even global potential.
Precisely.
Okay, so Baha'u'lláh sets it up as the foundation, the prince. Now, Abdu'l-Bahá seems to help us understand what makes this virtue authentic, how it's different from just, surface-level politeness or social maneuvering.
Right. There's a tension there, isn't there, between the inner reality and the outward show.
Definitely. Let's look at source 3. This one's from Star of the West. Courtesy is the essence of spirituality. It is not confined to outward form, but is the reflection of inner refinement. When a soul is courteous, it revealeth the presence of the Spirit of God within him. Be ye, therefore, ever courteous, for courtesy is the secret of harmony and the light of true fellowship.
Calling it the essence of spirituality, that's possibly the most forceful statement yet.
It really is.
It suggests that if you wanted one single metric to gauge spiritual progress for an individual or even a community,
courtesy would be it.
It would be the quality of their courtesy. It's presented as the immediate, non-negotiable proof that the soul is actually undergoing refinement.
Which brings us to that core challenge, not confined to outward form. We know spiritual life isn't about just going through the motions, right? It's about inner transformation.
Mm-hmm.
So courtesy isn't just knowing the right fork to use or saying please and thank you. It has to be a reflection of inner refinement. What happens if the outward behavior is perfect, but inside you're feeling resentment or judgment?
That's the crux of it.
Yeah.
That's the tension. If that inner state, impatience, maybe feeling superior, whatever it is, isn't dealt with, then the outward courtesy becomes fragile. It's a
It's a
performance.
brittle facade.
Yeah, exactly. It can shatter under pressure. True courtesy demands that constant internal work, that sustained effort to genuinely see the nobility in the other person, even when they're driving you crazy.
It's the commitment to that inner vision that generates the real, unwavering external grace.
And when that inner refinement is present, then the behavior itself becomes something sacred. The text says the courteous person revealeth the presence of the Spirit of God within him.
That raises the stakes considerably, doesn't it? Choosing to be patient, to really listen, to speak gently. It's not just a small personal choice anymore.
No, it becomes an act of spiritual revelation to the world. It turns good manners into this light of true fellowship.
It also gives us a kind of spiritual barometer, wouldn't you say?
How so?
Well, if we find ourselves consistently struggling with being discourteous, sharp, impatient, dismissive,
I see.
it's not just a behavioral quirk to fix with etiquette lessons. It's a sign, a symptom that we need to go deeper, back to that foundational work on the heart, on that inner refinement.
That's a very practical takeaway.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving from that inner motivation to the practical application, let's see how this spiritual essence translates into deeds, especially when dealing with, let's face it, imperfect people.
Right.
Source 4, another powerful passage from Abdu'l-Bahá, also in Star of the West, really clarifies the effort involved. Humanity is in need of courtesy, for it is the key to love and fellowship among men. Courtesy is not limited to mere words, but must be reflected in deeds. It requireth us to overlook the shortcomings of others, to forgive their failings, and to honor their worth. By courtesy, the hearts of people are united, enmities are extinguished, and the fire of hatred is turned into the light of affection. Truly, it is a divine quality which every believer must strive to attain. Okay, this is where the bar for spiritual courtesy gets set really high.
Okay.
It's an active practice, defined by these three, frankly, challenging requirements: overlooking shortcomings, forgiving failings, and honoring worth.
It's way beyond just avoiding offense. This sounds like active engagement despite offense.
Exactly. It's difficult work,
Yeah.
especially the overlooking and forgiving parts. That takes serious self-discipline, wouldn't you say? Real spiritual maturity.
Absolutely. But this raises a practical point, maybe a tension we should address. How do we balance this command to overlook shortcomings with the need for, say, firmness or justice, or setting healthy boundaries? What if a shortcoming is actively harmful to others?
That's a crucial question. And I think the key lies in that third requirement, honoring their worth. The text tells us to honor the worth of the individual, which isn't the same as endorsing their actions.
Decoupling the deed from the doer.
Precisely. We can, and sometimes must, address a destructive action. We can advocate for justice, offer correction when it's needed, but the manner in which we do it must still honor the inherent dignity of the person.
So avoiding humiliation, hostility, sharp language.
Right. If the correction itself is delivered without courtesy, it stops being helpful. It can feel like vengeance or just punishment, rather than assistance or a call to justice.
So courtesy becomes the means by which necessary firmness is delivered with love, or at least respect.
Yes, it demonstrates that even in correction, the underlying intention is, hopefully, redemptive, not just punitive.
And when this kind of deed-based courtesy is practiced, the social payoff described here is huge.
It's presented as the ultimate solvent for conflict. It ensures that how we interact, even when we disagree strongly, remains constructive. The text promises it unites hearts, extinguishes enmities, turns the fire of hatred into the light of affection.
That transformative power, it explains why it's called a divine quality which every believer must strive to attain.
Because it's immensely difficult, perhaps, but also immensely powerful in healing divisions.
All right, moving into section 3. Let's try to synthesize the effects of this deep courtesy, how it refines the individual soul, and how it acts as a persuasive force in society. Source 5, again from Abdu'l-Bahá and Star of the West, really focuses on that individual transformation. Be gentle in your speech, courteous in your dealings, and humble in your bearing, that the light of the Spirit may shine forth in your conduct. Courtesy is the garment that adorneth the soul, and is the ladder that leadeth to the heights of divine perfection. Without courtesy the spirit remaineth veiled, but with it the heart becometh a mirror reflecting the love of God.
That triplet of instructions. It's like a complete blueprint for courteous behavior, isn't it?
Gentle speech, courteous dealings, humble bearing.
It covers what we say, what we do, and just how we carry ourselves, our whole presence.
It's holistic.
Yes. And it's the consistency across all three that allows that light of the Spirit to shine through our conduct.
And then it describes courtesy as the ladder that leadeth to the heights of divine perfection. That implies it's not just a static state to achieve, but an active process.
Like a means of spiritual ascent. We don't wait until we feel perfect to be courteous. The very act of practicing courtesy is what helps us climb towards perfection.
It requires continuous conscious effort, climbing that ladder.
Definitely. And think about the alternative described. Without courtesy, the spirit remaineth veiled. Our true, noble, spiritual identity is hidden, obscured from the world because of the maybe rough exterior we present.
So arrogance, sharp words, impatience, those are the veil.
Exactly. And only when we consciously work to remove that veil through persistent courtesy does the heart become that mirror reflecting the love of God.
That's such a beautiful image. A mirror doesn't create its own light, does it?
No, it reflects what shines upon it.
So courtesy is like the polish, the thing that makes the heart clear enough, undistorted enough to reflect divine love, making it visible and accessible to everyone around us.
Beautifully put. Now, moving from that inner mirror to the outward effect. Let's look at source 6. This is Bahá'u'lláh again from the tablets, focusing on the magnetic power of courteous communication.
Okay. Let your speech be courteous, that it may be a magnet to the hearts of men. Harsh words repel, but gentle speech is as a garden in springtime, filled with blossoms and perfume. The fruit of courtesy is love, and its flower is harmony. Through courtesy, the world is renewed, and mankind is guided toward unity.
A magnet to the hearts of men. I mean, that defines courteous speech as the ultimate tool for attraction, doesn't it?
It really does. If we want to draw people closer to us, to our community, maybe even to spiritual truth, this suggests we have to employ that magnet effect.
It implies that persuasion might be less about the sheer logic of our arguments.
And more about the quality of our tone, the feeling we create.
I think so. And we certainly see the opposite everywhere, don't we? Especially online these days.
Oh, absolutely. Harsh words don't just disagree, they repel. They create an instant psychological wall.
But gentle speech, likened here to a garden in springtime. It's an environment. Welcoming, fragrant, pleasant, full of life.
That analogy is so powerful. It shows that courteous communication isn't just about passing information back and forth. It's about cultivating an atmosphere.
Yes. And it's that atmosphere that draws people in. And the garden produces results. Good results. The fruit of courtesy is love, and its flower is harmony.
Love seems like the substantial yield, the deep affection that endures.
And harmony is the immediate, beautiful result. Peaceful coexistence, maybe?
Yeah. So if we connect this to the bigger picture, in a world that feels increasingly defined by shouting, by polarization, by contempt, then this gentle, fragrant, courteous voice becomes, well, almost radical. A radical force.
It stands out. It becomes the pathway, as the text says, for the renewal of the world and guidance toward unity, precisely because it's maybe the only method that doesn't immediately alienate.
It affirms the relationship before tackling the disagreement.
It shifts the whole interaction, from a battle of egos to maybe a shared exploration, guided by mutual respect. It really feels like the prescription for healing global division, high-level, spiritually generated courtesy.
Okay, so now let's talk about the scope. How widely does this apply? And how necessary is it for effective teaching, for service? If courtesy is the magnet, who are we supposed to be aiming it at?
Good question. Source 7 gives us a clear answer on universality. This is from Abdu'l-Bahá's Promulgation of Universal Peace.
Among the teachings of Baha'u'lláh is this, that one must be courteous to all peoples, of whatever nation or creed. For courtesy is a sign of true humanity and the pathway to fellowship. If you would attract hearts, be courteous. If you would remove estrangement, be courteous. If you would spread the fragrances of the kingdom, Be courteous. Courtesy is the foundation of true religion, and he who attaineth to it hath drawn nigh unto God.
That non-discriminatory application is just fundamental. Courteous to all peoples, of whatever nation or creed.
No exception.
No exceptions. It's not reserved for people we like, or people in our own group, or even people who are courteous back to us.
Wow.
This requirement positions courtesy as a defining characteristic of true humanity. It suggests it to be fully human in the spiritual sense. We must embody this universal respect.
So maybe the real litmus test of our spiritual progress is how courteously we treat the people we least understand, or even those who actively oppose us.
I think that's exactly right. And notice the triplet of objectives here. Attract hearts, remove estrangement, spread the fragrances of the kingdom.
3 key spiritual goals.
And the text repeats the method for achieving all 3. Be courteous. Be courteous. Be courteous.
It's presented as the single, critical, foundational mechanism.
Because if you try to remove estrangement rudely, you just make it worse.
Right. You deepen the divide.
And if you try to spread those spiritual fragrances with harsh words, the scent is instantly spoiled.
The concluding thought then lands with such weight. Courtesy is the foundation of true religion.
It's not secondary, it's not optional.
Mm-hmm.
It suggests that without this quality, any claims we make about piety or belief or faith, they're just structurally unsound.
That priority gets reinforced even more when we look specifically at sharing spiritual ideas, at teaching. Source 8 from Bahá'u'lláh in the tablets really emphasizes the order of things.
Okay, let's hear it.
If you would teach the cause, first show forth courtesy. If you would speak of love, first be courteous. If you would raise the call of unity, first adorn your slaves with courtesy. For verily, courtesy is the first lesson in the school of divine knowledge.
The emphasis on first is undeniable, isn't it?
Absolutely. First, first, first.
It's the prerequisite, the necessary starting point, our enthusiasm, our sincerity, even our deep knowledge of the subject. It's all rendered ineffective if we don't begin with courtesy.
You can't talk convincingly about love or unity if your very approach pushes the listener away before you even finish your first sentence.
Right. And calling it the first lesson in the school of divine knowledge, that defines the entire spiritual curriculum in a way.
How so?
It suggests that deeper spiritual understanding is basically inaccessible until we master these fundamentals, the ABCs of this virtue. If we fail this foundational test, how can we expect to advance to the more complex lessons like sacrifice or true justice or detachment?
It makes sense. You have to learn to walk before you can run.
In this foundation, this courtesy, it's tied directly to active compassion, isn't it? Which is the heart of service.
Yes, you mentioned earlier how Abdu'l-Bahá defines the courteous person in other writings.
As being a balm to the wounded, a comfort to the sorrowful, and a refuge to the weak. That connects courtesy directly to active, selfless care for others.
So it's not just passive niceness, it's the gentle, compassionate application of service to those who need it most.
Exactly. Which brings us to our final source, source 9. This is Abdu'l-Bahá again, from Star of the West, and it ties courtesy explicitly to the effectiveness of that service.
Okay, let's read it. Courtesy is like a lamp that illumineth the path of service. Without it, the traveler stumbleth and faileth to reach his destination. With it he moveth forward with ease, his way made bright, his steps made firm. Blessed is he who is courteous, for he becometh a sign of God's mercy to all mankind.
The lamp metaphor for the path of service? It's perfect.
It really is.
Our sincerity, our effort, those are like the traveler's legs, maybe.
Yeah.
But courtesy is the light they need to see the path.
Without that light, even the most dedicated traveler stumbleth and faileth to reach his destination.
So good intentions aren't enough. The manner of our service, the how, determines whether it actually succeeds in its spiritual purpose.
We might sincerely want to help someone, but if we do it rudely, or maybe condescendingly,
the person receiving the help feels injured, not helped. The service fails to achieve its real goal, which is connection and upliftment.
So if we want our efforts in service to be steady, effective, to actually reach the destination, we must carry that lamp of courtesy.
And the ultimate reward described here is just profound. The courteous person becomes a sign of God's mercy to all mankind.
Wow. They actually embody divine grace on earth just through the consistent quality of their interactions.
So if we try to pull all 9 of these incredible sources together, what do we have? Courtesy isn't just being pleasant, it's the reigning virtue, the prince. It's the structural foundation of our character. It's the light that lets our wisdom shine. It's the cooling breeze in conflict. It's the mirror reflecting God's love. It's the magnet attracting all hearts. It's the very first lesson in spiritual knowledge, and it's the essential lamp guiding successful service.
That's quite a list. So what does this all mean? For us, for our practice right now, navigating the world we live in, which often feels, well, not very courteous. Hashtag tag outro.
Well, I think if courtesy truly is the first lesson and the foundation of true religion, maybe the most profound spiritual service any of us can offer is actually quite simple, yet incredibly hard.
Which is?
Just ensuring that our own actions, our own words at home, in our communities, online, everywhere, that they never obscure the beauty or the light of the spiritual truths we hope to represent.
So prioritizing gentleness,
Yeah.
humility.
Recognizing that the manner in which we engage, that's what determines whether we're acting as a magnet or as a repellent. Our conduct becomes the living proof, doesn't it, of our inner spiritual commitment. And if we fail in courtesy,
We fail the Prince of Virtues.
we fail the Prince of Virtues.
That is a challenging but really essential thought to end on. Thank you. And thank you to everyone listening. If you found inspiration, if you gained some genuine insight from this deep dive into courtesy,
We hope you did.
please do remember to subscribe, like this video, leave a comment sharing your thoughts, and share with others who might benefit. Your engagement really helps us enormously, and it lets this deep dive community keep growing.
Absolutely. And if you feel moved to offer further support to help us keep creating these kinds of in-depth analyses here on the Baha'i Reflections channel, please do check out the YouTube channel memberships.
Yes, please do.
For as little as 99 cents a month, really, every little bit helps you can get content early, you'll get access to upcoming exclusive content, and you directly support the growth and the sustainability of these deep dives. It all helps us continue these vital explorations together.
It truly does. So thank you again for joining us for this extensive deep dive into courtesy. We sincerely hope you'll join us next time for more explorations of these essential qualities that really define the spiritual life.
And specifically, please join us next week. We'll be doing a deep dive on another fascinating virtue, creativity.
Ooh, that will be interesting. Until then, may your hearts be adorned with the Prince of Virtues. We'll see you next time.